Hi, guys. Today I want to talk about some things that we do every day. In your everyday life, you probably wake up, get dressed, and eat breakfast. Then, before the lockdown happened, you probably went to school and you ate lunch at school. And then you finished school and maybe had a snack. And then you maybe did an after school activity or something else. And then you came home in the evening and you ate dinner. And then you got ready for bed. And maybe you noticed that we did several things many times in that day, right? There's something that you did a lot, and that is eating. And there's a reason for that. We humans, like most animals, need to eat for our energy. We get our energy from the foods we eat. Just like a car needs gasoline and machines or robots need electricity or batteries, which provide electrical energy, our bodies get our energy from the foods that we eat. And we eat food that we have to go out and find. Now, it's easier today than it used to be. If you need something to eat, you go to your kitchen or to the grocery store or to a restaurant and you can get something to eat. And our ancient ancestors went out and hunted and gathered for food. Most animals get their food this way. Today, we're going to talk about plants because most plants produce their own food. Now, they may need to get things out of the soil or out of the water to do that, but they are able to make their own food, and we call them makers. All right, makers are plants who use the energy from the sun to produce their own food, a process called photosynthesis. The makers make their own food by using the sun's energy to make their own food to keep themselves alive. And then what happens is that takers, consumers, like animals or humans, eat that food, and the energy that is stored in that food becomes the energy that keeps us going. So the makers, these plants that make their own food, what's on their shopping list? What groceries did they need to make food? Well, they need the sun and they need air, where they get some other nutrients from, some other chemicals come out of the air, and they need water, right? Because our plants don't drink coffee and our plants don't drink apple juice. They need water. So water, sunlight, and air will allow them to make the food they need to grow and become food for those of us who are takers. So let's look at this picture. This picture, the garden is makers, right? The items growing in the garden are making their own food, and the rabbit is the taker. The rabbit is taking that food that has grown in the garden and eating it and taking the energy in by eating. I'm going to show you another picture, and let's see if you can figure out who is the maker and who is the taker. So look at this picture. Who is the maker and who is the taker? So hopefully you can see in this picture that the garden, the plants in the garden are the makers and the deer is the taker, all right? In every food chain, you have to start with the makers. Every food chain starts with the makers, and those are the plants, seaweed, algae, garden plants that create food, that make their own food from sunlight, air, and water, and become food for the takers, the consumers that need the energy from food. All right, so now you guys are going to be creators and show me a picture of a food chain. And it can be a simple food chain just of two, a maker and a taker, or you could do a more expansive food chain, a maker, a taker, and another taker, and go up from there. But at least two, a maker and a taker, in your simple food chain. See you soon.